I'm dropping a bajillion frames. Hello? I think we might be okay. It would seem as if we're okay. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, guys. We did just lose connection there briefly. So I'm not sure what's going on. But we will be jumping into this series as soon as humanly possible. I do apologize, everybody, for that inconvenience. So taking a look at who's coming up next, we have Our Monk Still Sucks versus You Reckon Mate. That's coming up next, guys. Ben turned his cam off because it was lagging, like with it on. So I don't know if it had something to do with me getting knocked off or what's going on. But we're going to try to pull it through, guys, and we're going to try to continue on. And hopefully everything will be okay. I do appreciate those of you who are in chat and still being patient with us. Thank you guys for hanging out. But is Ven still here?
Not sure.
I'm going to add him back to the call, see if he... Alright guys, we'll be right back as we figure this out.
Y'all ready for this?
His team is just rotting though, Maldiva doing so much damage to everyone.
Is he a live order? Is he not?
Hello.
Cheap shot, can he counter kill?
Yeah.
He's gonna die.
What's up, dude?
Now, half HP Nesper pulls it out.
And he just flops! Are you kidding me? Dude, this Red Paladin team is here to play. Welcome to EU, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I believe we are back, potentially, for now. Welcome back, Venrinky. We're going to be jumping into the very first map of this best of 3 series. Our Monk Still Sucks versus You Reckon Mate. I believe they're still ready. I'm not 100% sure, but we're just going to confirm that before jumping into this next series here pretty soon. Alright, so are they ready? Alright, they are ready. We're going to jump into Nagrand Arena, the first map of this best of 3 series. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah. Not sure what exactly is going on.
Looks like one team decided to leave, correct?
I actually wasn't even able to get in.
Oh, I got it. Weird.
Alright, so I'm glad that one team actually did end up leaving. That is convenient for me.
We could have another radio show.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You want another? Oh no, we did a great job.
No, you guys did a great job, but I would want to be there too.
You can't take it back now.
Okay. It's gonna insult you guys. You guys did do a good radio show. I'd listen to your radio show. Though I don't listen to a lot of radio shows, I must say.
What do you do when you're driving?
I listen to music. Is that boring?
Is that listening to music while driving boring? Absolutely not.
Alright, cool. Are the semifinals being played tonight? To be determined. The semifinals being played tonight will have to... ooh, I just got a queue for Nagrand Arena. Did you guys just get that?
No.
Negative.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that queue. I'm going to queue back up for Nagrand Arena again. Let's try this again. War game request being sent out here. Do apologize for all the technical difficulties, everybody. This is the first time that we have encountered this specific problem. Hopefully everything will be a-okay. And here we go. The very first map of this best of 3 series is going to be on Nagrand Arena. Alright, welcome to Nagrand Arena. You reckon, mate, running that Holy Pally God comp going up against our Monk Still Sucks, running the DK Warrior Mistweaver Monk. So this is the first map of this best of 3 series. Here we go, everybody.
We'll have to see what they do. It's going to be... I played a Mistweaver in this comp before, and it's very difficult. You have to put up with a lot. You have to expose your tree a lot. And not only that, but Mighty Axe and Bert are going to be able to spell his Enveloping Mist, which are a major part of his heals. So he has to do an excellent job rotating his cooldowns to make sure he doesn't fall behind and get out the heals when he absolutely needs to, while also avoiding a lot of incoming CC. Looks like Valito Omnivore going to be opening up on a Bert right away. They want to start sort of shut down some of that initial CC, but Bert doesn't care. He's going to Blazing Speed, Deep Sheep, DJ Ratslayer immediately, and Omnivore already having to use his heals as well as his Die by the Sword to prevent some of that incoming damage. DJ Ratslayer actually nimble brewing out of that fear and throwing the Life Cocoon out on the Omnivore, and this is not the start our Monk Sucks wants.
Yep, the Polymorph was stolen by Valito. Unfortunately, it's going to break onto Rubcubs from the diseases. Omnivore trying to make a bit of a turnaround here, popping the Recklessness onto Mighty X, but the Avenging Wrath is still up for Rubcubs. He's going to easily top him off. They did manage to get his Trinket throughout that. DJ Ratslayer playing as far back as he can, but Bert going for another Deep Sheep. He does get gripped back on it, so Mighty X is going to have to fear him instead. They land the full fear. DJ Ratslayer actually going to Trinket out of that, as Omnivore was in a bit of trouble here. He's going to get full poly though on his Trinket. Omnivore on the defensive at the moment, down to 29%, desperately trying to line his sight. The Master Fleck comes out. It's going to break up the CC chain here. DJ Ratslayer pops the Ore Master to get Omnivore topped off. He's doing a good job so far.
Yeah, but he's already used Life Cocoon, Revival, Nimble Brew, Trinket. Basically every cooldown he has available has been used. Bert taking a lot of damage there, dipping down quite hard. The Save by the Light proccing on him. Bop actually was forced out not too long ago as well, but now DJ Ratslayer caught into the full fear. He has no outs. Now a Deep Freeze out, has that Life Cocoon as an answer though, and Omnivore is going to be fine for quite some time, but DJ Ratslayer, he's going to be CC'd for this entire duration, so he's not going to be able to get too much on the Omnivore through that Life Cocoon. Finally breaking up that CC a little bit. Gets caught into the DR Sheep. He was able to get a few heals on the Omnivore. Now Omnivore is going to be fine until the next CC chain, I believe.
Yeah, Rubcubs using the Avenging Wrath to top off Bert, keep his team as offensive as they possibly can. Valito getting swapped too. He's going to go into Blood Presence to reduce the incoming damage, or down to 60%. Omnivore getting cleaved as well. Full dots onto both players. Mighty getting pressured here, but Rubcubs should be able to easily heal through it. Now the setup on the Omnivore. He's horrified. Bert looking to land a full Polymorph here. They land the Polymorph Omnivore into the Hodge, out of the Horrify. They're trying to take him down here. Double Devouring Plague down into Shadow Word Death Range. Die by the Sword. Rallying Cry come out in desperation. Still so low. Down to 7%. The Denounce connects. Master Fleck comes up. Trying to stay alive here. The Rally's going to fade, but the Life Cocoon's going to come out. He's going to stabilize here at 16%. Valito forcing the Ice Block out from Bert. In the meantime, Omnivore has to find some way to get his HP a little bit higher.
Yeah, Ratslayer actually got locked out there too, finally able to channel a Soothing Mist into the Deep Freeze though. The Enraged Regeneration coming out from Omnivore is going to Trinket that Hodge from Rubcubs. Bert getting pressured down though at 40% HP. DJ Ratslayer in a full Sheep. He has Trinket up in 5 seconds. Is it going to come up enough in time? Omnivore down to 24% HP, 10% HP. The Trinket just comes out. He's going to be able to Trinket the Fear and get a few heals on the Omnivore. The Soothing Mist comes out, Enveloping Mist out. Omnivore's most likely going to get topped off, but DJ Ratslayer still not out of CC yet. Finally, the Polymorphs are done, but he's in a Frostjaw. Rubcub's actually in a full Sheep. Valito doing an excellent job stealing Bert's Sheep there, putting Rubcubs into that CC, and that's what they need to do. They need to get the CC onto Rubcubs so they can pressure Mighty X and Bert, because, I don't know, right now, You Reckon Mate has all the momentum in their favor, and I think that Valito and Omnivore need to start looking at Mighty X as a target instead of Bert, because they're not really able to make too much happen on him.
But the full Polymorph lands on a DJ Ratslayer. Omnivore could easily go down to 14%. The Shadow Word Death's finally going to be connecting, and our Monks Still Suck. They renamed themselves to this, apparently. Are going to be losing here on Nagrand Arena. It's a best of 3. Losing the first map is not a good position to be in, especially when you lose it so convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel for DJ Ratslayer. That's a matchup I played a lot, actually, the last time I queued TSG, and it's not fun, as you saw. You're CC'd all game.
Yeah, he never really caught a break, huh? The setups coming out from You Reckon Mate just never ended. Like, they always had something to set up after the setting up.
That game was 4 minutes long, and DJ Ratslayer was put into... It was under 4 minutes long. I think it was like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And DJ Ratslayer was actually CC'd for almost 2 minutes there, so... at least half the game he didn't control his character, literally.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask if you reckon Mate is going to be running that same composition here, and if they are, we'll be, yep, they are. So the next map is going to be Dalaran Sewers, chosen by our Monk Still Sucks. So with a double melee composition, do you think Dalaran Sewers is going to give this team a big enough edge to take down this Holy Pally God comp? Realistically,
I'm not convinced of that. I think this is a very uphill battle for them, and what they need to do is I think they need to be more aggressive than they're being. Instead of using all their cooldowns defensively, they need to be aggressive. They need to get some pressure on the Mighty X, force CC out of Red Cubs and Mighty X, potentially just have, I mean, DJ Ratzler, he's going to get CC'd anyways. You might as well push it and get an in-cap and a leg sweep onto Red Cub so they can get something going on to Mighty X and just use those cooldowns offensively to stay aggressive. And, I mean, it's sort of ride or die at that point, because it doesn't seem like if they play the safe game, they really have much of a shot, at least looking at the last game.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Omnivore and Valito like to drag games out as long as they can. They feel that if they're able to make the game go long, that they can pull off wins. And they were getting cooldowns, even though it looked so grim. They got ice blocks and bops out of the way, rotated through 2 Avenging Wraths. They just need a little bit more pressure to push through the rest of it. And I'm not sure if DJ Ratslayer is like their main monk, or if that is Adela's ult or something. Maybe it's a little bit of an uncomfort thing, playing with a new player. But either way, they're going to have to figure it out quick. This is their last chance. DJ Ratzler already displaying Vampiric Touch. So he's seen himself for a little bit, but it's not going to end up mattering here. Omnivore actually popping the Recklessness Blade Storm onto Mighty X as well as Bird. Bird's going to blink away from it, land the Deep Freeze. DJ Ratzler going to nimble out of that Deep Freeze. Unfortunately, now into a full silence, and Omnivore's dipping low. He Trinket Rallying Cries, die by the swords. Regen heals are up. All of the cooldowns in the book are being used to try and stabilize here. DJ Ratzler finally leaving that fear here initially. A full Polymorph was stolen by Valito. Now onto Rub Cubs. It does get Mass Dispelled by Mighty X, however. And with that Avenging Wrath up, he's going to easily top off Bert. He's going to actually have to Trinket that Stormbolt, though, to top off Bert. Now into a full fear. Bert falling a little bit behind here. Rub Cubs choosing to bop him. Valito getting pressured down to 30% here. A bit of a close call for Bert, but he's going to hold on to both of his blocks.
Yeah, but now our Monk Stocks is going to be the one that's in trouble, even though Mighty X is taking a lot of damage right now, down to 66% HP. Omnivore has no cooldowns left, and that is the full fear on a DJ Ratzler. He does have Trinket available. Life Cocoon's going to be coming up in not too long into the Deep Freeze. If he gets Polymorphed here, it's most likely going to be his Trinket. Omnivore down to 31% HP, in a lot of trouble. DJ Ratzler deciding to dispel him, actually gets that Vampiric Embrace CC onto himself, pardon me. Now Omnivore actually catching a huge heal there. DJ Ratzler finally able to get that Aura Mastery up and top him off very, very quickly. Now Rub Cubs caught into the full 68. Mighty X down to 40% HP. Taking a lot of damage. The stack coming out actually from Rub Cubs. Save of the Light proccing as well. Rub Cubs does have a bop available if he needs it, as well as Mighty X having dispersed. Bert has both his blocks available if he needs it. Down to 28% HP, actually having to use that Ice Block. Omnivore actually getting the Life Cocoon from DJ Ratzler there. So both teams forcing so many cooldowns.
Yep, Rub Cubs now into the Stormbolt. Unfortunately, Omnivore is rooted. He's not able to connect just yet. Trying to catch up to Bert. Bert now Rub Cubs into the half asphyxiate. Bert can take a bit of burst here, but Rub Cubs leaving the CC, has the Avenging Wrath off, tops him off very quickly. Valito getting spam polymorph. DJ Ratzler trying to keep him out of that crowd control and keep the damage rolling here. Rub Cubs Avenging Wrath going to be fading shortly. Bert looking like he wants to make a play here. Blinks. I believe he got gripped back on the blink, so he's not going to be able to land any sheeps for a while here. Trying to go for a deep sheep out in the open. DJ Ratzler nimbles out of the deep. Line of sights the polymorph. Omnivore heroic leaves back in defense. Mighty trying to push into maybe Land of Fear, now pulling out, realizing he would probably take quite a bit of damage overextending like that, but now he's going to get Stormbolted with an Asphyxiate onto Rub Cubs, the double stun combo, trying to take Mighty down. He's desperately trying to run away here in fear. He gets gripped back on the Feather Sprint. Rub Cubs has to use his second bop onto Mighty's here, who's down to 40%, trying to protect it with that rebuff. Now swapping over to Bert, down to 50%, down to 40%. He's in desperation mode right now. The sacrifice comes out from Rub Cubs to try and reduce some incoming damage. Saved by the Light is going to proc. DJ Ratzler, though, getting deep frozen in the backline. The full polymorph is going to land. He has his Trinket. He's choosing to Trinket here. Gets the Life Cocoon up prior to the silence. Omnivore Trinketing as well. A bit of an overlap, but now the pressure's starting to roll in the TSG's favor. Rub Cubs desperately trying to top him off. Gets the Execution Sense onto Mighty. He doesn't have the Avenging Wrath available for some time. Valito getting swapped to. He's going to get polymorph, though. Counteract all that damage, unfortunately. Rub Cubs starting to down to 43%. If there was anything going good, it is going to be Rub Cubs mana.
Yeah, absolutely. And Omnivore actually used his Enrager Generation as well as his trinket on that last swap. DJ Ratslayer also has no trinket available, so the next swap they do on him could be devastating, but they need to be able to push in onto Omnivore. And DJ Ratslayer actually doing an excellent job dispelling up Omnivore on that disarm from the Shadow Priest. But Burt in a lot of trouble, down to 25% HP, 18% HP, 13% HP, getting the block off in the nick of time. Rubcub's caught into that full sheet. Velito doing an excellent job stealing that from Burt there. Rubcub's actually having to use his bubble, and now Mighty X is the one that's being attacked. Burt has no ice blocks left for another 48 seconds. Mighty X actually does have his disperse available for him. Rubcubs has no cooldown, so to keep his team up. So if this TSG can keep up the pressure and sort of force them on the back foot, DJ Ratslayer is not going to be in as much CC. He's going to be able to get out those heals and keep his team aggressive. Burt, 43% HP. Rubcubs getting feared up there. The full deep sheep coming out from DJ Ratslayer. They need to turn it around, but DJ Ratslayer doing an excellent job pre-bubbling Omnivore through that damage. Velito getting swapped to, having to use that AMS. The full fear going out on the DJ Ratslayer at the moment. Rubcub's caught into that incapacitation into the DR sheep. Burt down to 40% HP, has that block up in 10 seconds. Will he be able to survive? Rubcub's actually throwing out the sacrifice there to reduce some of that incoming damage transferred onto himself. DJ Ratslayer caught into that full frost jaw at the moment, but he gets out of that and his team's topped off. But Rubcub's mana is looking like it's going to be the issue for Team You Reckon, mate.
Yep, dampening about to start here. Burt making a last-ditch effort, lands the full Deep Freeze Polymorph. Omnivore trinkets the Horrify, but into a full Hammer of Justice. DJ Ratslayer trinket revivals him out of that stun, allowing him to heroic leap defensively here at the boxes, trying to stay connected with DJ Ratslayer, who does manage to top him off. Stormbolt onto Mighty X here. Colossus Smash is going to connect. Rubcubs pops the Avenging Wrath. He's going to have to trinket out of the Asphyxiate to top off Mighty X here, who's trying to pull away. Paralyzed now onto Rubcubs out from DJ Ratslayer. That's the CC chain that they need to be getting a little bit more often to get the kill here. Mighty X down to 50%, dampening finally kicking in here. Rubcub's also down to 6% mana. Burt landing the full Deep Sheep here. Omnivore getting horrified. I'm not sure if the Hodge is available out of that. Doesn't look like it is, but DJ Ratslayer pre-life cocooned it regardless, and now Burt is in trouble. He's got one more block left. Saved by the Light's going to proc. Blazing Speed defensively gets a life grid back to the box, but the TSG, Velito, and Omnivore don't care. They're just going to swap over to Rubcubs. Now into the half Asphyxiate here. He has no bubble. He has one bop. He's going to shield wall to try and reduce the damage. Velito and Omnivore know that they can't jump off this edge and risk their lives here. They're just going to swap over to Mighty X on the top side, who looks like he's trying to push in maybe to get a fear on the DJ Ratslayer. DJ Ratslayer playing very far back. Stormbolt onto Mighty X. He's going to trinket that and get bopped. They're just going to swap over to Burt. Our Monk still sucks is just everywhere, but they're in trouble right now. He's going to have to use the regen heal to heal through all this burst coming through. Denounce is flying in from Rubcubs to try and end the game. Die by the sword. Rallying Cry gets used down to 13%, down to 8%. I don't think there's any way you survive this. Ice Nova connects. Rally's going to fall in 3 seconds here, but in the meantime, Burt gets taken out. Omnivore survives, and You Reckon, mate, suddenly losing a game here, tying this up 1-1.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
unbelievable.
That
was crazy.
That was
That
some
was such a good
sense,
game.
man. I don't know. What do you think about that game, Ben? Do you think that You Reckon, mate, messed up, or do you think Our Monk Still Sucks changed something up to win that game for them?
Well, I liked what DJ Ratslayer was doing that game. He was just using Trinket, like instead of, like the second something hit him, he would just use his Nibble. So when Burt pushed in to deep freeze him, he would just Nibble. So his team stays at 100% HP, they don't fall behind. It's a little scary to do that, but I'd rather him use his cooldowns early than sort of fall behind. Because what happens is, like, you get caught in a really scary situation and you end up like trinketing a polymorph, then you get silenced, and then you get feared out of it, and you end up just using everything to sort of play catch up. Instead, it's better to just never fall behind, I think, and you get to keep your team aggressive, and they get to have pressure. And I think DJ Ratslayer did a good job of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the very end there, where Our Monk Sucks, their monk did not have out of all that CC, and they somehow, Omnivore stayed alive. And I think Omnivore was actually stacking on top of on the monk to try to prevent those Ice Novas from falling in on him, or just like the AoE from breaking the CC. But I don't know. They somehow survived, and Burt went down. A very intense game coming out between these two teams, tying it up 1-1, making it a pretty intense series, guys. So the next win is going to determine who advances here in tournament number 17. Now, the team that advances is going to go up against Proxy.net, the tournament favorite in the semifinals, but this is single elimination. So the next game, the very next game, is going to determine who's getting eliminated and who's advancing. Which is so exciting about single elimination. That's always a good time. So, Looks like this team, You Reckon Make, they're going to bring it to Tol'viron Arena, a very large map, to try to make it a bit easier for this caster team to survive against this double melee. I do think it's going to give them an advantage, but after watching that last game, I don't know. Maybe our Monks figured something out and is making it work.
They barely made it work, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a really close game. And not only that, but Bert had his ice block.
Yeah, Bert had another ice block available.
He had a block to survive. I don't know if that would have won them the game, but that was an exceptionally close game. One of the closest games I think we've seen on GCD. So anything could happen, and it's when a game can be that close, it's scary, especially when your tournament life is on the line. Only the next game determines who wins and who's out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Something to note is that this team, this TSG, made so many swaps, and when you're swapping against a Holy Paladin, it really forces them to either switch that beacon around or to go like Rub Cubs did that game. And so I'm not sure if he could try to switch that beacon around and get some of his mana refreshed back at him as he casts into the targets that have beacon, or if that's just going to be the story every single game against this team because this TSG just switches so much. I don't know. We're going to find out here pretty shortly, guys, jumping into game number 3.
I think when you're watching TSG play that you have to listen to the Ballroom Blitz song.
Oh, yeah? Or you have to play
it's like the theme song for TSG.
Yeah, I could see that.
Blitz.
Alright, so Ballroom
Blitz. You want to dance.
Yeah, that is a dancing song, absolutely. But so if that's a Ballroom Blitz, is that song for TSG? What song would we give WLS?
WLS? I don't know. Some like.
What is that?
Viking death metal.
Viking death metal.
What?
Yeah, some
Dashboard Light or something by Meatloaf. What is it? Saved by the Dashboard Light or something? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I have no idea what song.
I'm talking about. Really, no idea what I'm talking about. I'm gonna find it.
Alright, if you find it, I'll play it. So we're just waiting on Team You Reckon Mate. They are going to be downloading a new add-on. Apparently their current add-on isn't working correctly. Something to note, guys, currently in war games, if you are competing in war games, you do need to use a different version of Gladius other than the normal version of Gladius. You have to use Gladius EX or Gladius WAD. Those are the only versions of Gladius I currently know of that work in GCD TV tournaments and future tournaments as well. So if you want to compete in future tournaments, I do recommend getting used to some other add-ons, or maybe even S Arena does work as well. Any plans for 2v2? Death Pair at the moment, not really. It's not the most competitive bracket in the world. I mean, there's still a bajillion teams queuing 2v2, but as a spectator event, I feel like 2v2 might be a bit slower. But, I don't know. The Wednesday community days, we always try to change things up, and we did try a 2v2 tournament recently, but we didn't allow any healers, just DPS only, and it worked out pretty good. It was actually a lot of fun, to have like a 2v2 tournament with DPS and healers, I'm not sure exactly if we'd be willing to do that. Maybe if there's enough people that want us to do it, we'd probably do it.
What about like a 5v5 tournament?
Oh my god, I would love to watch a 5v5 tournament, I must say.
Me too.
That would be a good time for me. 5v5 tournaments, it's a lot of players, so it's hard to keep track of, but it's not impossible to keep track of. And so you can really keep track of every player and every ability, and sometimes 5v5s can be just explosive, and that's really cool to me. 5v5 arenas is kind of what inspired us to start looking at 6v6 tournaments.
6v6 tournaments?
Yeah, we recently just started
for
doing
RBGs?
that. Yeah, for RBGs.
No, they're fun.
They're a good time.
I feel like I wish RPGs were sort of just shifted into like 6v6 or 5v5 or 7v7, something like that. 10 gets overwhelming for me.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that. 2v2 no healers would be fast.
You need to bind like Focus Arena 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Rub Cubs, for whatever reason, is not available to queue. Oh, hold on. Gotta make sure that he's leader. 2v2 would just be Feral, Ret, X. Potentially, yeah. Hybrids, if there's no healers involved, would be fairly strong, though. But if we were to host like a serious tournament, we don't really want to put any restrictions what compositions you'd be playing. I mean, we did put a restriction in this tournament on compositions like double healer or double tank because we really want to avoid really drawn out, long, boring games. But I don't know. If you wanted to make like a really competitive tournament, you really can't put a limit on what teams can sign up with. So if it was a non-community day tournament, we'd probably rock. We'd allow healers in. Yeah. All right. What's the story, Hannah? Are we gonna be jumping in here pretty soon?
I thought they were ready.
Oh, all right. Let's try this again, guys. Tol'viron Arena, the last map of this best of 3 series. 1 wargame request has gone out. Hello?
Hi.
What is happening, man?
Hola.
Como está? Is that how you say that? I took French.
I took French too, and German.
What? Wait, what did you say?
Como está?
That is not French.
No, I know. That's why it's so bad.
Why did you say that you took French when you're not?
But you
He's
missed
saying
the...
he doesn't know Spanish because he took French.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
Okay, well, can you speak French?
No. Not even a little
Then
bit.
why did you take French?
Yeah, huh?
The reason why I took French is because if I took French instead of Spanish, then my study hall would be the very first period of the day, and then I got to hang out with my friends.
No.
True story.
Did you pass French?
I don't know. I sound right.
Twice. And that was it. And then the other 2 years I did not. Here we go. Yes! Double war game request, please! Please! Save us! Nope, it didn't work. Why is this happening, guys? Alright, it worked. I just have to complain about it. Alright, guys. The last map of this best of 3 series is going to be played out on Tol'viron Arena. Alright everybody, welcome to Tol'viron Arena. It is our Monk Still Sucks versus You Reckon Mate. It's tied 1-1 here in the best of 3 series. This game is going to determine who's eliminated and who's advancing.
Yep. Tournament life on the line for our Monk Still Sucks and You Reckon Might. Last game was exceptionally scary for both teams, so this match could definitely go either way. If I had to put my money on it, I'd say You Reckon Mate is going to come out victorious, but like I said, anything can happen.
Do I have to root for the underdogs? I'll root for the other side of Our Monk Still Sucks. They pulled off a very good game defensively while still outputting the pressure to Rub Cubs throughout all of it. But this time around, You Reckon Mate knows that they win the game in the open, and they're not even going to a pillar at the moment, just staying on their mounts. Burt possibly going for an invis here shortly to maybe land some CC. I would think that would be his best move. Now he's going into stealth to try and sneak in for a sneaky poly. Mighty X throwing down some feathers for Burt as well. Now Spectral Guys comes out maybe to land a fear as well. Burt not pushing forward just yet. Rub Cub's already getting dotted out. Mighty X does land the full fear. He's going to get opened on, however. Burt getting gripped in here by Valito. DJ Retzler getting silenced. The Master Fleck comes out for Omnivore to try and eat that polymorph. Unfortunately, it was not able to. The full polymorph is going to land. Omnivore die by the swords preemptively to reduce all this damage. He's going to have to use his regeneration heal to try and sustain himself. Die by the sword is going to be fading, dipping down to 30%. It's looking like a similar open to the last game, but Valito stealing a polymorph in the meantime, landing that onto Rub Cubs. Mighty X getting storm bolted, but the entire side of both teams didn't have to trigger that opener regardless of how much pressure was coming out.
Yeah, Omnivore actually getting topped off there. His bubble's going to fade, and Mighty X is the one that's in a little bit of trouble right now. And I believe DJ Ratzler doesn't have a statue down right now, unfortunately, so he's going to be losing out on that additional healing coming out of a statue. Burt down to 15%. The huge execution sentence coming out of Rub Cubs, though, actually gets asphyxiated up and trinkets out immediately. He wants to take advantage of his wings, top off his team, and he's going to be able to. DJ Ratzler just playing so far back right now. Omnivore realizing he's in a little bit of trouble, pulling back to DJ Ratzler at the moment. Gets topped off quickly. Now he's going to go back into the action, making sure Ren's up on the water elemental. Just a little bit of extra healing Rub Cubs is going to have to deal with. And it looks like the Avenging Wrath is going to fade. Burt's getting chunked down pretty hard. Blinks in, actually gets a deep sheep onto DJ Ratzler. DJ Ratzler to try to deciding to trinket and bubble Omnivore. Omnivore, I think, also used the trinket. The recklessness coming out right now. They want to get the pressure rolling now that they have that life cocoon as sort of a safety net. Burt just spamming out the polymorph slow. He realizes his team's in trouble. The asphyxiate going out onto Rub Cubs, and because of that, Mighty X is going to have to go into that disperse. And this TSG is doing so well.
Yeah, Valito's always like almost carrying his team, stealing those polymorphs and forcing the cooldowns out from Rub Cubs. If they didn't have that polymorph chain, there's no way they would have got the disperse out from Mighty X. But in the meantime, Burt blazing speeds across. DJ Ratslayer nimbles out of the deep freeze and paralyzes Burt, shutting down his polymorph CC chain. Now Omnivore heroic leaping back onto Burt to force him out. Asphyxiate onto Rub Cubs. He's going to have to bubble out of that. Mighty X was dipping very low. Execution Sense is going to top him off, but now they just swap over to Burt. Colossus Smash comes up, chunking him down to 50%. Life grips him back to safety next to Rub Cubs here, but Mighty X is going to get gripped back by Valito into the center of the map. Omnivore and Valito have a choice now to overextend and leave DJ Ratslayer exposed. Mighty X trying to drag them out of line of sight. Omnivore going for the Blade Storm here. Lands a full fear onto Rub Cubs with no trinket available. He's going to bop Mighty X. Valito's going to be looking to try and get that off. He gets the bop off. The full 60 onto Rub Cubs. He's going to have to bop himself off, but now Omnivore into the full Hodge. The regeneration heal comes out. Will be enough. The denouncers are connecting down to 1%, and it's not going to be enough. Our Monk still sucks. Overextending, even in the slightest, are going to get shut down by You Reckon Me.
Yeah, I guess they smelled blood in the water. I mean, their strategy was working so well, but as soon as DJ Ratslayer came off that pillar, it was over. And I believe that Burt and Mighty X were actually killing off DJ Ratslayer's statue. So he was losing the healing because of that, because I saw him put one down, but I think it actually got killed off.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah,
is that worth it, then? To kill that statue?
It's a lot of healing. It gives you another soothing mist while you're channeling it. So.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, You Reckon Mate will advance here in tournament number 17, and they will face Proxy.net in the semifinals. Up next, we have Hey It's Tony from the Bronx going up against Scout's Honor. Now, I believe Scout's Honor only has one composition available to them, and that's Feral Mage Priest. What composition is Tony from the Bronx going to choose to go up against an FMP? That's the question.
Turbo.
Turbo? Is Turbo good against that?
I think it's fair. I think it's really
I think
hard.
they're going to outlast the Priest.
Oh, is it a Priest? Is it FM Priest?
I think it's FM Pally.
Yeah, isn't it Beanslayer and Versace and Sam?
I think it's Beanslayer. Oh, it's Angry Cuban X in Sam.
I think that's Versace. I'm not 100%, but I'm like 95%. But I don't think it really matters. Either way, it's going to be a Paladin. And I actually saw Beanslayer's team, despite being very tilted and filled with a lot of salt fighting against them on the ladder yesterday streaming, they were actually able to beat them. It was a very long game, obviously, but they actually did manage to beat Danny Carey, Tony, and Losa. So it's completely capable for them to win. But it's going to be long no matter what.
Yeah, I talked to Sam today, and he said he's just getting ready for the dampeners. These are gonna be long games. Who knows though? Anything could happen with Feral Mage. Maybe they could catch something off guard.
I don't know. We've seen this FMP in the past going up against Holy Pally, God Cons, all sorts of stuff, and they've done relatively well. We don't see FMPs quite often here at GCD TV, so I'm always pleasantly surprised by their performance, I must say. Alright, both teams are ready. According to Clutter, the Wargame request has been sent out here. We're going to be jumping into Nagrand Arena for the first arena of this best of 3 series here. I'm joined by Peter Pan right next to me. I'm not going to show you my desk, but I will show you my cat. There he is.
Oh, Peter Pan, the most vocal cat I've ever met in my life.
Really is. I don't even know. But here we go, guys. So we have that FMP going up against the Turbo.
My
little turtle is in the game again.
Always there. I want to try and get a pet out next game. Wait, I want to try and get it. Can I get a pet out right now? Let me see.
You have to be outside the game.
Pet Journal, Summon, Alliance, Balloon. Do you see a balloon?
No, it doesn't work. You have to be out of the game.
I'm gonna get we should get balloons. Those would look cool.
I like Speedy. He's my favorite pet.
You like the little turtle?
I think it's for like a children's week or something.
You get like really cool looking eyeball pet if you do it every year, I think, for a certain number of years. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it's exclusive. Maybe you can't get it anymore. But regardless, the game going to be starting off. Losa charging Sam I Am in the center of the map. Beanslayer trying to find his target. He's going to pounce up Tony Jr. in the center here. Sam I Am already down to 60%. Polymorph getting reflected. Versace choosing to use his Avenging Wrath very early. It's going to conserve his mana if he's going to be playing for that long game. It's going to be important. Now he can also spam out the denounces as they swap over to Danny down to 50%. He's going to Barkskin here. Some off heals thrown out by Tony. He's just going to get cloned up on the Barkskin. Good plays out from Beanslayer here, and they're going to swap over to Tony. And now Danny has no hots rolling. He's going to have to drop all of his Force of Nature transfer. He gets polymorphed out of the Cyclone. Tony Jr., although he's able to keep himself topped off here at 80%. Versace getting pressured. His Avenging Wrath going to be falling here shortly, and Mames is just relentless here onto him. He's going to charge stun him, but he has fake casted the pummel, so he should be able to top himself off.
Yeah, absolutely. And Beanslayer just being very patient with his Incarnation as well as his Berserk. Sorry, he's wanting to save those cooldowns, and that's when we're going to see the big pressure coming out of this FMP when he pops both of those cooldowns. So that's something we're going to have to look out for. Tony Jr. still getting targeted down a little bit. It looks like for the most part this FMP is playing slightly defensive. And as I say that, Tony Jr. goes down to 20% HP. The Shaw Maul coming out. Danny Carey actually caught into that full deep freeze now. There's going to be no follow-ups you see at the moment. Beanslayer trying to go for that clone, but Danny Carey able to typhoon him away and escape for now the clutches of the FMP CC. Going to get those hots out onto Tony Jr. Hopefully be able to top him off. Beanslayer actually getting cap totem into a full cycle, and so well done by Tony and Danny Carey. They're getting out that CC. Versace now across the map. He's very far from Beanslayer. Getting pummeled down by Mames as well as Tony Jr., but Sam I Am doing a great job spamming out as much CC as possible. Now they're swapping out onto him, trying to shut down some of those polymorphs. And right now it looks like this FMP isn't able to get too much going, but Sam I Am pushing in for the deep sheep. It actually got grounded there by Tony Jr., so well done by him, but he ends up getting the sheep anyways. Tony's just going to do the dip, gets behind the pillar, LOS, going to try to stop that follow-up CC, throw as many heals as he can on himself. He doesn't have a Shaw Maul available for a little bit longer, using that Ghost Wolf to get away. Gets interrupted on that healing touch, but now Danny's out of CC, gets the Iron Bark out. Going to be able to top him off before the offensive clone comes out of Beanslayer. And Danny and Tony doing an excellent job dealing with this FMP pressure.
Yeah, Beanslayer's always trying to rotate those clones on defensive cooldowns, and now they're just going to swap over to Danny. They force the Barkskin. He's looking to try and land a clone. He's not able to get it. However, Danny cutting away in line of sight. He's actually full polymorph now on his Barkskin. They could look to swap off. Instead, the Incarnation being popped onto Tony Jr. He's kind of dying through the Shamanistic Rage at the moment. Safeguard comes out, down to 20% HP. Rallying Cry is going to be used. Denounces are flying in. Danny not in any more CC, desperately trying to get the heals rolling onto Tony. Rallying Cry is going to fade. He's pulled back here defensively. He should be able to top off. A bit of a close call there. Beanslayer's Incarnation paying off. He's looking to try and get a Cyclone here. Danny's just going to Typhoon him back. In the meantime, Losa just basically PvEing on whoever he chooses to try and get some pressure rolling and start ooming Versace.
Yep, absolutely. Beanslayer actually getting hit pretty hard now. The sack coming out from Versace onto him. Danny Carey getting swapped to a little bit. Deep Freeze went out on him as well as Calm Storm, but he's going to be able to get away, get some heals on himself and be completely fine. So I'm not sure if that was a little bit of a miscommunication or what, but Danny Carey not really having to use much there on that Deep Freeze. Beanslayer still getting targeted down to Versace, having a hard time healing him up. Danny Carey caught into a sheep, into a full Cyclone by Beanslayer. Now Tony's in a little trouble. He does have that Ascendance up right now. Shamanistic Rage is also available if he needs it, but Danny Carey's going to get it out of that CC and be able to top him out. Danny Carey actually going for clones right there. He went for a clone right there, sorry, and he got interrupted, unfortunately. But yeah, both teams have stabilized at the moment. If we look, Danny Carey still has every cooldown available, and so does Versace. So 1 minute away from dampening, and that's when this game will really kick off.
Yep, Scout's Honor is very cooldown dependent for their pressure, so without that Incarnation, it's going to be hard for them to get anything rolling here. Beanslayer looking to try and get some Cyclones, but he's getting interrupted on them. The full Polymorph actually landing onto Danny, trying to get the Shamanistic Rage out of Tony with this crowd control. Versace using his Avenging Wrath to keep Beanslayer healthy as he gets Storm Bolted. Mame's getting defensively Polymorphed now, but Danny Carey's in such a good posture to just keep the hots rolling that he can take the time to maybe try and fake cast a counterspell at the moment. Not able to fake cast it, however, dropping the Force of Nature Trance to keep Tony topped off. Sam I Am blinking in, lands the Deep Freeze. They're looking for a swap over to him on the Deep Freeze. He's going to get Safeguard with the Barkskin. Beanslayer trying to clone him up, but he's going to get cloned by Danny himself to shut down that clone on his Barkskin. Looking for more clones now, trying to rotate them over, not able to land them. Sam I Am down to 50%. Versace Execution senses him back to full HP. Now Beanslayer into the Storm Bolt, stun locked behind the pillar, trying to kite away. He's going to use that Stag Form Leap to kite back to Versace and line of sight, realizing that they didn't get really anything done with that push. push aside from Danny Carey's Barkskin. If they're going to look for anything to happen, they're going to have to push into Danny once again or just play for a later game.
Yeah, Beanslayer's Berserk as well as Incarnation are coming up in around 22 seconds. Danny Carey will have his Barkskin for that, so I think what Sam I Am and Beanslayer are going to have to do is try to force Danny's Barkskin or his Trinket or something, and then try to make a swap over onto him. But for now, Incarnation there's no real good target for it. Beanslayer getting a little bit low. Tony Jr. also getting low using that Shamanistic Rage. Danny Carey throwing out those Trents. Going to be able to top off Tony quite quickly. Beanslayer throwing out some peels on the Mames at the moment. Versace pulling that Avenging Wrath. His teammates should get topped off as well. And Danny Carey caught into a DR clone. And like I said, if Beanslayer and Sam I Am want to make something happen with this Berserk, they might be able to actually do something onto Tony because he doesn't have that Shamanistic Rage for another 30 seconds. But if they're looking to make swaps on a Danny Carey, they need to slowly work through that Barkskin as well as that Trinket.
Yeah, both teams, aside from Tony, all have their trinkets available, dampening now at 7%. Versace's Avenging Wrath going to be fading here shortly. Losa and Tony are going to be looking to make a move. Losa actually getting a Hodge there. Danny managed to dispel it before getting Deep Frozen. Sam I Am looking for a Ring of Frost. He's not able to land the Ring of Frost. Danny's going to displace out of it. Line of sight the Polymorph, get full hots rolling onto Tony, keeping him very healthy here. Now Danny, unfortunately, getting polyed without a stun. Tony could be in trouble here. He doesn't have Shamanistic Rage for 4 seconds. Beanslayer realizes that they're trying to push him over the edge. They're going to clone him up low HP. Beanslayer looking to try and rotate that clone over. He's going to get Storm Bolted. He trinkets that to try and go for a clone. He gets Typhooned back. He's not going to be able to rotate it over. Now Charge Stunned. Tony Jr. survives that swap. Danny into the Deep Freeze. Hodge onto Losa. Looking to try and land a clone onto Danny. They do land the full clone, trying to pressure Tony through. He's going to Shamanistic Rage to answer all of this damage incoming, and Beanslayer now has to be careful. He's trying to pull away. He's overextended quite far. Versace trying to play catch up to get in his line of sight. Finally getting here to try and top him off. Charge Stun comes through onto Beanslayer, still at 50% HP. Dampening now at 12%, starting to hinder Scout's honor even more, and Versace's going to get swapped to. He's pushed in very deep. Tony getting spam poly defensively. Saved by the Light's going to proc. Versace popping the Aura Mastery to heal through this incoming damage. He can't afford to deal with the interrupts. Now having to use the Avenging Wrath chained out of that. In the meantime, Danny gets polyed. Losa gets cloned into the full Hodge. 3v1 onto Tony with no Shamanistic Rage. Danny Carey has to Trinket, pops the Nature's Vigil, NS, and Iron Bark to keep him stabilized through the Incarnation here. Ascendance out from Tony here. All the cooldowns by both sides being used to counteract each other, and the damage is going to be fading because of that. Double Fear landed onto the DPS out by Losa, into the bash onto Beanslayer. Danny Carey looking maybe to get a clone onto Versace. Typhoons him back, lands the full clone. Sam I Am dipping low, has both blocks. He's going to use his first.
Yeah, he had to use that Cold Snap as well for that little heal, as well as get his second Ice Block rolling again. But really, Tony Jr. and Danny Carey doing an excellent job dealing with the cooldowns coming out from Sam I Am and Beanslayer, never really overusing, never in really too scary of a situation. Tony actually in a little bit of trouble now at 50% HP. Danny Carey caught into that full Ring of Frost. He is in bear form, so there's not going to be any follow-ups. You see Danny blinking back, going to get those heals onto Tony Jr. He's going to be fine, but now this is a situation they can capitalize on. Tony has no Shamanistic Rage. He has no Ancestral Guidance. Danny Carey, no Trinket. So the next CC chain they do could be big trouble. But Tony Jr. as well as Mames have their Trinkets up. They're going to have to use those Trinkets to stop the incoming CC on a Danny Carey, at least to last as long until Tony can get that Shamanistic Rage up once again. And here it is. Sam I Am pushes in, gets the full Deep Sheep. Tony Jr. could be in big trouble. 22% dampening. He does have a few hots. He's trying to get away. Uses this Trinket, I think, on a snare. Just wants to get behind the pillar, throwing out those healing surges. Danny Carey not going to get followed up. Gets more hots on a Tony Jr. And he's going to survive, having that Shaman Rage coming up in around 9 seconds.
Yep, and that's really important that he has it available. It's forcing Beanslayer to have to retreat. He can't stay in the center of the map knowing that that cooldown's available. Tony's just going to take the time to kill off the Water Elemental. He knows the longer this game goes, the more advantage his team has. Looks like getting Polymorph for the time being. Finally going to be leaving that. Versace uses the Avenging Wrath to keep his team very healthy. Danny's going into the Deep Freeze, looking to land the Ring of Frost. They land the full Ring of Frost on a Danny. Tony's immediately going to Shamanistic Rage to answer all of this damage. Drops down a Capacitor Totem to try and eat up some as well. Full clone onto Danny out from Beanslayer. Still Tony Jr. alone here, trying to line of sight that Shamanistic Rage, paying its weight in gold. He does manage to fake cast the Winch here. He's going to land the full clone onto Tony, which is going to peel here effectively for Sam I Am, who may have had to use his second block if these clones weren't being landed. Now Beanslayer getting cloned though by Danny, and he's not going to be able to get any pressure rolling. Sam I Am, saved by the Light, is going to proc. He's throwing down the Comet Storm to try and make anything happen onto Tony. Deep Freeze onto Danny. Full poly lands. Tony doesn't have Shamanistic Rage. Danny trinkets, throws the Iron Bark Ironbark onto Tony to stabilize his HP. Healing Stream gets plopped down as well. Sam Am getting pressured though for this offensive push. Nice clone up from Beanslayer onto Tony's Ironbark there. It's canceling the effect entirely. Sam Am needs to stabilize though. He uses the Amplify Magic to get a little bit of extra healing here. Beanslayer going crazy with the clones, cloning out Losa now. Versace spamming out the heals to stabilize his team. Now they have to work their way through another Shamanistic Rage, and in the face of 32% dampening, it's not looking too good.
Yeah, but their saving grace is Berserk and Incarnation coming up in around 2 seconds. Another one of Survival Instinct, another one of Beanslayer's Survival Instincts coming out as well. But Beanslayer and Sam do have the cooldowns available to make something happen. Sam almost has 2 ice blocks up. Versace still has Trinket Bubble, double bop, and here comes the Incarnation Berserk onto Tony Jr. The Shamanistic Rage being used immediately, as well as the Ascendance. They want to turn the pressure around onto Sam, not let Beanslayer and Sam go aggressive. Versace having to use his Avenging Wrath, as well as Sam using that ice block, and now Beanslayer not really able to get too much done with that Incarnation, just being answered by Tony Jr.'s short cooldown Shamanistic Rage. Danny Carey doesn't have his trinket up for another 50 seconds. Sam trying to capitalize on that, pushing in for the deep sheep. He gets grounded the first one, the second one fully lands though, and now Tony's in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't have anything left to survive. Down to 40% HP. If they can get any follow-up onto Danny Carey, they might be able to get a kill, but the Ironbark comes out from Danny Carey. Now Sam the one that's in a little bit of trouble, down to 36% HP. Versace having a really hard time healing through this in the face of 40% dampening, and the second block being forced out by Sam, so he has no block for quite some time, and this is going to be really hard for Versace to heal through this deep into the game, this deep into dampening. Danny Carey has his Nature's Vigil up right now, so his HOTS are going to be empowered for the time being. Sam pushing back, trying to get out that Water Elemental, trying to get out as much pressure as he can, but a Warrior Enhancement Shaman just doing work, shutting him down, and he just has to play so defensive now that Versace can't keep him topped off.
Yeah, Losa getting Polymorph for the time being. Danny able to dispel it. Beanstar getting Storm Bolted down to 30%. Versace doesn't have a lot left here. He might have to bop him. Beanslayer getting locked on that clone. Colossus Smash comes up. Losa gets hodged. Bash onto Tony Jr. Beanslayer trying to make a last-ditch effort here. Might clone him up here. Clones him up at 70%. Beanslayer trying to look to rotate it over. He's not able to push into line of sight. Looking for another clone onto the DPS. A bit of a mistimed clone. Actually, Losa Blade Stormed to avoid the clone, so good play to avoid it. Versace has the Avenging Wrath. He should be able to stabilize his team. They've managed to bait out the Ironbark onto Tony Jr. here. They still have the Shamanistic Rage to go through. Tony's just going to retreat, pull back. He knows that they can't get anything done with Versace's Avenging Wrath up, so he's just going to play it very safe for the time being. Losa getting cloned up, but Versace's mana down to 39%. Danny Carey's still at 73. The Water Elemental going to be going down. Another advantage for Tony from the Bronx here, and they're just going to wait. They don't care. In the meantime, though, Versace getting a drink. He's going to get back up to 80% mana, so his wings are going to be wasted effectively for the healing, but he's going to trade it to get some mana here based on the positioning of Tony from the Bronx. Recklessness coming out from Losa onto Beanslayer. He's trying to pounce on him up to peel some of this incoming damage. Now he's going to get stabilized by Versace. Polymorph getting reflected, I believe, there by Losa onto Sam Miami. Just get dispelled, though. Danny Carey into the full Ring of Frost. The last time that they're ever going to get a push might be now onto Tony Jr. He's going to Shamanistic Rage to answer all this incoming damage, so they're going to have to pull off retreat for the time being. They're not going to be able to kill through it. Ironbark and Trinket are going to be available from Danny Carey. It's not looking good for Scout's Honor.
Yeah, once again, though, they do have that trump card of Incarnation as well as Berserk, but is Sam going to last long enough? There's 24 seconds left on his Cold Snap. Versace does have Trinket, Bubble, and Bops available, so they might be able to keep him up. The Bop coming out onto Sam now, Tony Jr. in a little bit of trouble. Danny Carey caught into that full Deep Cyclone. Incarnation might be popped here. The Ironbar coming out, and here it is. Beanstar using all those offensive cooldowns, and Tony Jr. is going to be in a lot of trouble right now. Danny Carey's going to have to do work to keep him up through these offensive cooldowns coming out from Beanslayer. But it looks like he's doing a pretty alright job right now. He doesn't have Ironbark available, but the HOTS coming in. Tony Jr. also healing himself up a little bit. Versace having to use that Avenging Wrath. Going to be throwing huge heals onto Sam And it looks like Sam does have that Ice Block available and ready to go, but Danny Carey caught into the full Deep Sheep. No Trinket available for quite some time. Tony has Shaman Rage just coming up now. That could save him. It could be enough. Danny Carey not getting follow-up CC'd. Ironbark coming up in around 20 seconds, but it looks like Danny Carey might be able to stabilize here. If they can't get any more CC onto him, he should be able to survive, but Sam pushing in, making sure to stop him. I believe Beanslayer actually interrupted that, so well done by Beanslayer. Interrupted Danny Carey's heals. Cyclone, though, coming out from Danny Carey onto Beanslayer, trying to prevent some of that damage. The Rallying Cry also was out from Mames. Going to fade now. Tony Jr. down to 1% HP. The NS comes out from Danny Carey, but it's too little too late. And Beanslayer, Sam and Versace turning it around on the back of those cooldowns, Berserk and Incarnation. Well done by them.
Oh my goodness. I did not expect this coming out from these two teams, to be quite honest with you. But Scouts Honor, they're going to take the very first game of this best of 3 series at just about 60% dampening. Wow.
That's what I saw happen yesterday when I saw them on stream too.
Wow.
Eventually their healing, it doesn't do anything, and they don't need CC to kill through Danny's healing. Even if he's full mana, like 60% damage, that's over half your healing reduced. It just eventually becomes where it's like rejuve does nothing, so you kind of just fall over. You really need to like have cooldown pressure to rotate it back for your favor, and they didn't have it. So
Yeah.
it was just a momentum game at that point.
Yeah, we actually saw Danny Carey throw out some cyclones there. Even though Tony was so low, he just knows that shutting down the damage is much more valuable than getting out those heals sometimes, especially when you're that deep into dampening. But, no.
Alright, so Scouts Honor is going to be the winner of that series. They do have to announce to me preemptively what composition they'll be playing in the next map, and they are going to be playing the same comp, Feral Mage Paladin. And here we go. The next map chosen by Tony from the Bronx is Dalaran Sewers. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and queue up and jump into this next series here very soon. For whatever reason, it's not working, guys. We're going to be jumping into these games as soon as possible, guys. Scouts Honor versus Tony from the Bronx here. So far, this is turning out to be a very cool series, and here we go. The next map is going to be played out on Dalaran Sewers.
What was interesting is that at one point Versace was like almost and because they wanted to wait for the wings to fade, they let him drink. And I sometimes wonder if he actually did manage to tap him on mana, if that would have mattered at the end, if he would have had enough steam to actually keep his team going in.
Yeah, I think Tony, Mames, and Danny here are stable enough to where they're not really too concerned about like pushing in. So maybe that was a little bit of a mistake, like you're saying. And if they're able to actually Versace, that's a completely viable strategy for winning. And it seems completely reasonable, especially when the game's going so long.
I have to wait and see if they're able to stop him from drinking this time around. A much smaller map, but even still I expect the game to go very long. Both teams completely aware of how much damage each side can do and to answer appropriately with their cooldowns. Losa already heroic leaping, pulling Sam I Am out of stealth. Tony getting pounced once again by Beanslayer this game around. Trying to get some Maelstrom procs built up early on. Danny camping bear form, pushing in, lands a full bash onto Beanslayer, back to the pillar now. Losa getting polymorphed in the meantime, not able to dispel it just yet. Versace getting interrupted there by Tony, but it's not going to amount to too much pressure. The full Hodge came out there and a full poly onto Danny Carey. Tony Jr. down to 50%. The Ice Snow is doing a ton of damage. Shamanistic Rage going to be used down to 47%. Beanslayer looking to try and clone it up. He does get interrupted on it. Tony's going to line of sight, gets a big heal for himself. Still line of sighting the incoming clones. He did actually get snagged by Beanslayer's clone, so he's going to have to sit through that. The Hots are going to be rolling off. Danny now looking for a clone of his own onto Beanslayer. Tony pushing across the map past the waterfall to try and catch up to Sam I Am here. Beanslayer getting cloned again. Losa's polymorphed. He does get dispelled. Versace gets locked out there by Losa. They're going to swap over to him in that lockout, down to 50%, into the full shockwave out of the lockup. Danny Carey blinks in as well to try and participate on the kill. Versace immediately popping the Avenging Wrath, topping himself off immediately with that Amplify magic as well. He's feeling very safe right now. Danny Carey bashing Sam I Am. He's actually choosing to block out of that, and they're going to swap over to him for that aggressive block.
Yep, and Sam I Am going to be under a little bit of pressure now, using that cold snap to heal himself up, but I think with Versace having his wings up, he's going to be completely fine. But there's just one cooldown they got for free. I believe Danny Carey bashed Sam I Am on his CC, and Sam I Am just deciding he didn't want to sit that CC and just decided to throw out that 5-minute cooldown for the turbo to sort of work through now. But I don't think it's going to end up mattering too much. The deep freeze going out on the Danny Carey Hodge on the Mames. The triple CC, that's exactly what they need to do. Pounce onto Tony Jr. at the same time, so no one can really stop Sam I Am getting to that deep sheep. Unfortunately, not able to get a follow-up, and now Danny Carey able to get away. He's going to be able to top up Tony Jr., but that is, once again, that cooldown they're looking to get, the Shamanistic Rage. They're going to have to slowly work through that, and that's really going to be their only opportunity to kill if they can get Danny into a CC when Tony Jr. doesn't have that Shamanistic Rage, unless it's deep dampening like we saw last game. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, Tony and Losa appear to be trying to go after Versace a lot more this time around, immediately swapping back to him when he comes to the center of the map. He's going to get shockwaved. Colossus smashes up. They're trying to output a lot of pressure. He's going to use the shield wall, execution sense, and pop his aura mastery to allow Beanslayer to get a clone here. He's going to clone up Tony, trying to rotate it over. He's going to land it onto Losa. Was trying to look over to CC Danny. Now the Deep Freeze comes out, looking for the full polymorph as well. They're not able to land the full poly. Gets interrupted on it, grounding into interrupt out from Tony, shutting down that CC, looking for a Ring of Frost now as well, but Danny's already evacuated around the corner. Tony's just going to run through it. It's going to break to the damage. He's trying to push forward and connect with Losa onto Versace, but they're just not able to for the time being, hitting Beanslayer instead, who is cutting them away from Danny. Danny's going to have to drop down now as well. Beanslayer down to half. Versace pops the Avenging Wrath here. He does get locked out by Tony's wind shear. Beanslayer's still in a little bit of trouble here, but as soon as Versace gets that heal, it's going to top him instantly. So it does. The Deep Freeze now once again out from Sam I Am. Losa heroic leaps back to stop the incoming poly. He's going to be able to stop the poly. Tony Jr. using the Shamanistic Rage regardless to tank some of this damage. Danny looking to try and maybe rotate a Cyclone out here. Lands a full Cyclone onto Beanslayer. Versace's Avenging Wrath is going to be fading here shortly. Tony from the Bronx realizes that. They're pushing forward onto Versace. He's going to freed him and try and cut away now into the charge stun. They probably have a full Shockwave here shortly. Versace using the shield wall. The Shockwave actually onto Beanslayer. Versace cutting down below. His wall's going to be fading here shortly. Beanslayer going for some defensive Cyclones. Not able to get them. Losa Blade Storms it. He's going to have to clone up Tony. Now rotates it over to Losa. Versace should be okay with that clone out from Beanslayer.
Yeah, Tony Jr. has his Shawn Wall coming up in 22 seconds. And if we look, I mean, Sam I Am has his Deep Freeze up. He's going to be going in for that CC now. But every time he goes in for that CC, Mames Tony Jr. doing an excellent job of shutting him down for the most part. Sam I Am doing a good job and actually able to get out that polymorph now, but he's not going to be able to get up any follow-up. Actually using that Ring of Frost, well done by him. The Spell Reflect came out there by Mames, but Sam I Am noticed that and decided to use Ring of Frost instead of his poly. And now Tony Jr.'s in a lot of trouble. Shaman Rage just coming up. Danny Carey gets the NS and Ironbark off, so Tony Jr. is going to be completely safe. And now Sam I Am, Beanslayer, and Versace have some catch-up to do. Versace still getting tunneled down. Danny Carey doing a good job shoving back Sam I Am on those polygas, so he wasn't able to get that, and they were able to force Versace because of that. Versace's bubble, pardon me. Versace also using that Avenging Wrath, trying to top himself off, as I believe Mames actually did Shattering Throw off his bubble there. So having to use another cooldown, which is not something Versace wanted to do there.
Yeah, and he's not running the short cooldown bubble, so he's not going to have it available deeper into dampening here. Tony Jr. overextending a little bit. He realizes that he's going to try and line of sight as Danny is polyed up. Beanslayer looking to clone. Lands the full clone onto Danny. No Shamanistic Rage for 15 seconds. If Scout's Honor had an opportunity, this would be it. They need to chain the CC onto Danny. It doesn't look like they have any more. Beanslayer is going to get shockwaved. Tony's coming back into line of sight. Danny rolls the hots fully onto him. Losa getting polyed in the meantime. He's going to have to sit through it. Good clones out from Beanslayer onto Tony to deny the healing. Sam I Am taking the opportunity to blink in. Lands the Deep Sheep. Now Tony is exposed, but he's going to have the Shamanistic Rage. He's going to pop that immediately and Trinket out of the Hodge as well. Now into a half bash. Sam I Am looking to try and chain the polymorph. He's not going to be able to. That Mass Reflect denying the CC coming in here. Danny's going to be able to get the Hots rolling. Throws a bash onto Beanslayer. Maybe looking for a clone out of that. Maybe actually looking for a clone onto Versace. He's pushing forward. He knocks Versace off the edge. He's going to have to kite forward. Beanslayer and Sam I Am taking some damage here as they did try to push in very aggressively. Tony forcing them out. Beanslayer rooting up Tony. He's going to drop the Windwalk Totem to keep Losa and Tony offensive. Maybe they're going to swap over to Versace as Losa goes into battle stance here. He's going to get cloned up though by Beanslayer. It's going to deny all the pressure rolling in. Versace getting wind shear there. It's not going to amount to too much. Sam I Am landing the Deep Freeze, looking for the ring. They're not able to land it. They land the charge stun, but Beanslayer is there for the follow-up. Lands the full clone onto Danny. Tony doesn't have Shaman Rage for 15 seconds. They have to make something happen quick here. Danny gets the NS and Ironbark off. It actually doesn't do too much. Still down to 50%. Versace popping the Avenging Wrath, keeping his team as offensive as possible. Finally, Danny Carey getting all those heals rolling, topping off Tony Jr. and stabilizing his team.
Yeah, and Danny Carey still has this trinket available. Beanslayer's major cooldowns coming up in around 45 seconds, and that's when we're going to be looking to see Beanslayer and Sam I Am really make something happen. Tony Jr. does have his Shaman Wall available, so he's going to be safe for the time being. Versace's Avenging Wrath is going to be fading up here soon. Beanslayer actually caught into the bash from Danny Carey, trying to throw out a clone, but he gets interrupted there from Tony, I believe. Danny Carey now caught into the full Deep Freeze Ring of Frost, and now they're trying to make something happen on a Tony Jr. This is what they want. I believe Tony Jr. is going to survive this swap, but they were able to force that Shaman Rage, and Incarnation's going to be up. They're going to have around 30 seconds to actually make something happen on a Tony Jr. where he doesn't have his Shaman Rage available, and that's where they can really capitalize. Unfortunately, Danny does have his Trinket as well as Ironbark ready for that situation, and Beanslayer actually forced to play a little bit defensive here, down to 27%. Sabre the Light actually propping Versace, procking, pardon me. Versace actually able to get out some heals onto him, topping him off, but this is their chance. This is when they want to grow aggressive onto Tony Jr. And maybe have to force the Trinket coming out from Danny Carey, but Versace having a really hard time healing himself off, actually having to use his bop there. Sabre the Light procced as well, so a lot of cooldowns coming out from Versace. Mame's doing an excellent job messing with Versace right now, not letting him heal up very much, keeping him low. And now Tony Jr. has that Ascendance up, going to be able to connect. Versace, unfortunately, having to use that Avenging Wrath. Danny Carey caught into a DR Ring of Frost, I believe, into the full Cyclone. Now Tony Jr. is in a little bit of trouble. Incarnation being used there by Beanslayer. Shamanistic Rage going to be answered by Tony Jr., so he's going to be able to survive those cooldowns, actually getting cloned up there by Beanslayer X. They were able to force Danny Carey's Trinket there, but that's it. Danny Carey's into a full sheep right now. Now Tony's in a lot of trouble, no Shaman Rage. Danny Carey has no Trinket ready to go. They can get any follow-up CC. Tony Jr. could be in a lot of trouble right now. Sam I Am trying to get at those polymorphs is going to be able to get it off, sorry, but Tony Jr.'s off healing just going to be so effective, and he's going to be able to keep himself up even though he had no real cooldowns going into that CC chain.
Tony getting cloned again at 75%, looking to try and rotate the CC onto Danny. They're just not able to do it. The Deep Freeze now connecting. The Polymorph getting Mass Reflected. I believe there was denied. Now finally landing the full Poly. No Shamanistic Rage. For 8 seconds, he knocks him down out of line of sight. Bear roots him down below. Down to 30% here. They have to take him out now. Ghost Wolf comes out. Shamanistic Rage barely coming off cooldown to escape death there. Nice setup from Beanslayer and Sam I Am, but Tony is going to escape by the skin of his teeth and try and go in for another push here onto Sam I Am, dipping him down to 50% HP. Versace running out of cooldowns now, has nothing left. Sam I Am still at 40%. The Amplify Magic comes out to try and help Versace out here. Danny actually getting full cloned here. Tony without Shamanistic Rage once again down to 50%. Deep Freeze onto Danny. Sam I Am looking to land the Ring of Frost here. They're not able to land the ring though. Danny leaves the CC. Versace pops his Avenging Wrath almost offensively here, trying to keep his team topped here and stick onto Tony. Rallying Cry is going to get used there as well. Half Hodge onto Danny, looking to land the ring, but he whiffed the ring. He's not going to get CC'd. Danny's able to knock them back. Beanslayer desperately tried to Typhoon Danny into the ring, but it's not going to be able to connect. Beanslayer gets bashed up. He's going to Trinket that bash and try and go for a clone here, but Sam I Am getting cloned by Danny. The pressure's going to start rolling off. Versace's Avenging Wrath has faded. Now Tony from the Bronx is on the offense. Beanslayer's trying to leap back defensively. Versace pulling back as well. Sam I Am, the last person to escape, feeling the pain here, down to 50%. Blazing Speed comes out though. Versace should be able to top him off shortly, but we're already at 30% dampening.
Yep, 31% dampening, like you said. Danny Carey actually getting deep frozen there. The full sheep coming out from Sam I Am. Sam I Am actually able to land that CC. Tony Jr. caught into the full bash, having to use that Shamanistic Rage. He is fully loaded with HOTS, but they're not going to be as effective as they once were with that 32% dampening. Sam I Am getting chunked down a little bit there. The sacrifice coming out from Versace onto him, trying to prevent some of that incoming damage. It's going to get purged off from Tony Jr. The Iron Bar coming out from Danny Carey as he wants to top off Tony Jr. and keep him and Mames aggressive. Beanstar throwing out those Cyclones though. Clones Mames, clones his Trinket as well, so well done by him. Icy Veins coming out from Sam I Am. They want to make something happen. That is the Hodge on the Mames. Probably looking for that Deep Sheep on a Danny Carey so they can get down Tony Jr., but Versace just having to play so defensive, having to use that bubble. Sable the Light proccing as well, using that Avenging Wrath. He wants to top himself off, so that was so many cooldowns for us. Avenging Wrath, bubble as well as Sable the Light, so well done by Tony and Mames. 36% dampening. Beanslayer actually using his Incarnation as well as his Berserk, trying to get aggressive onto Tony Jr., I believe, but Danny Carey has all the trends out, has Vigil out, just sitting in bear form, and Tony Jr. looking like he's going to be completely fine. He even has the Shaman Rage up if he needs it, but I don't even think he's going to have to.
Yeah, Versace's doing an amazing job, though, to maintain his mana this long. It's really the reason that his team is even still in this game. The Deep Freeze onto Danny, full clone out of the Deep Freeze. Tony Shamanistic Rage immediately drops the healing stream, trying to kite away from Beanslayer, but Beanslayer's too quick. He's able to knock Danny down. Unfortunately, again, the Ring of Frost not going to be landing, and Sam I Am's not able to chain the CC. Now Beanslayer bashed up, out of line of sight with no Trinket, down to 28%. Versace gets the big execution sentence off with the unused Trinket, though, able to stabilize his health back to 60%. Now Sam I Am getting swapped too, down down to 50%. The Reckless Blade Storm doing a tremendous amount of damage. Amplify Magic used by Sam I Am to try and help Versace out in the face of 42% dampening. His entire team slowly rotting down. But now Tony with no Shamanistic Rage. The full poly lands onto Danny with no Trinket left. 3v1 onto Tony. Comet Storm is going to connect. Can he survive? Down to 18%. Denounces fly in. The half polymorph lands and Tony goes down. Scout's Honor going to be taking this cleanly 2-0 in 44% dampening.
My God, that was a hell of a game. And Scout's Honor 2-0 are going to eliminate Tony from the Bronx from GCD tournament number 17. That is an upset. Absolutely. And here we go. Scout's Honor running that Feral Mage Paladin will advance here in tournament number 17. Well then.
Well then.
You know, to be completely honest, this is a total surprise for me. I had the utmost confidence for Tony from the Bronx going into this series, and Scout's Honor are really proving me wrong here. But
it's gotta be patient. Gotta be patient. They have the offensive cooldowns and they have the CC to make something happen. Similar to, I mean, if you think about it, it's basically Boomkin Mage Pally, and that's the comp the Majordan Asper run. Except it's a Feral instead of a Boomkin, obviously. But they have just as much CC, and they do have a significant amount of burst. So they can definitely last a long time, and they have a lot of opportunities to score kills.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct, man. I'm excited to see them continue to compete here in tournament number 17, and they will advance to the semifinals. Now, up next, we have Kids A Toxic 2.0 going up against Please Jimmy Don't Flop. So that's probably going to be a Holy Pally God comp. No, I'm sorry, not a Holy Pally God comp. What composition was Please Jimmy Don't Flop? Absurge is on that team. If
WLS.
Oh, WLS or Ret Lock Shaman or even Mage Lock Shaman going up against Kids A Toxic.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a Jungle Cleave or a Feral Mage Paladin. Interesting. Alright. I have no idea what either one of these teams are going to be playing, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Kids A Toxic.
They're SSDS, Psy-Foxy, and Kappa. We've seen
Jungle
Kappa.
Cleave.
Yeah, it's Jungle Cleave.
Jungle Cleave.
Holy Pally, Jungle Cleave.
So we might see the Ret Lock Shaman comp again, right?
Yep.
I think Jungle Cleave does pretty well against WLS.
Yeah, it's rough for WLS. I think like Metaphors is telling me that he's played like thousands of games with Jungle Cleave, and WLS wins maybe 20% of the time.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely situations that they win. So for consistency's sake, I think they'll probably play Ret Lock Shaman again. Obviously, this Jungle Cleave is a lot more experienced than the first one they fought, so it's going to be a bit more of a challenge, obviously, for them to take them down.
So I'm not sure at this point if we're going to be holding this tournament. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that we should split it up? Semifinals and finals tomorrow? What do you guys think?
I think it's up to the players.
Right.
I'm down to just sit down and
Finish
bang out all
it.
these games. But
Alright guys, we will talk to the semifinalists and get that figured out and see if the players want to continue on tonight. We will get in contact with them and figure out what's going on. But in the meantime, we will get these two teams ready and jump into this next series here.
Oh, I need to get my pet out. I forgot.
Oh, don't forget your pet, man. Hello?
you have to.
God, I got a balloon. Oh my god, it looks so cool on my mount. I forgot this pet existed.
Alright guys, we are going to be jumping into this game very, very shortly, guys. But before we jump into this next game, we will be taking a quick commercial break. So make sure to go grab your popcorn, use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. Because up next, guys, we have some exciting 3v3 games here at GCD TV. Don't miss it. We'll be right back.
Just say goodbye as I'm walking on a wire.
Go back.
Just close your eyes. You can leave me in the fire. sky. I'll chase another high. I left it all behind, so let me go. Just say goodbye as I'm walking on a wire. Just close your eyes. You can leave me in the fire. 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 Leave me in the fire.
All right, everybody, welcome back to tournament number 17. We're going to be jumping into the next series here pretty soon. Kids of Toxic 2.0 versus Please Jimmy Don't Flop. Both these teams seem to be ready, so I'm gonna be jumping into this next game very, very shortly here, guys. Should be an interesting one, as both of these teams have multiple compositions available to them. And here we go. The war game request is being sent out. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
What does?
Your chips.
Someone has chips?
Someone does have chips. Here we go, guys. We're going to jump into the first map. Of course, it's Nagrand Arena.
But of course.
Is that a red powder?
Yep.
Yep. Looks like they're going to be running that Ret Hunter Resto Druid, actually. Oh, sorry, no.
Ret Warlock Resto Shaman.
Yeah. Ret Warlock Resto Shaman against a Jungle Cleave. Pardon me, got that a little bit mixed up there. So we'll have to see how this comp works out against a Paladin Jungle Cleave that's a little bit more experienced. We saw Evs, Cytrix, and Absurge sort of dominate the last jungle team they fought, but I don't think it's going to be quite as easy for them this game.
It's survival. He would have a dinosaur out, I think, if he was BM. So I'm pretty sure he's playing survival. We'll know right away as soon as you see Black Arrow up, regardless. Actually, they are going to go on to Absturge for the time being here. Psych opening up. The Murder of Crows comes out. He's going to get Shadow Fury. He actually gets dispelled out of the Shadow Fury. Absturge gateways away. Still down to 50% HP. Trying to line of sight the incoming damage here. Kiting away with that Windwalk Totem here. He is stabilizing very well through the opening pressure here. Not having to use a Spirit Link just yet. Trying to go for a Healing Surge now. It's going to connect. Tops him back off to 80%. His Capacitor Totem actually going to be stunning SSDS. Ev's trying to get the dots rolling here. He's only got full dots onto SSDS. Now popping the Dark Soul. Trap onto Cytrix though. Absurge dips low. Down into kill shot range. Bob Hellstone and Battlemaster come out. He narrowly escapes death.
Yeah, and I believe he actually is survival. Do they have Killshot as survival?
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the stack actually going out on SSDS right now. This is Ev's Demon Soul. They're trying to make something happen. Now Cytrix using his Avenging Wrath. It looks like they want to pressure down Kipo. He does have that wall up right now at the moment. He's going to use his own Avenging Wrath. Get away, save the life proccing on him, catching a huge heal there. Absurge is the one that's in trouble. The clone on the Cytrix right now. Absurge down to 40% HP at the moment. He does have that sack from Cytrix, but Cytrix down to 40% HP as well. Both of them just taking so much damage because of that Blessing of Sacrifice. The Crows, coming out from SSDS on the Absurge at the moment. He does have that Spirit Walker's Grace up, trying to get out as many heals as possible. But if you look at his mana, it's only been a minute and a half, and he's already down to 47% mana, which is not looking good for Absurge. Caught into that full bash at the moment. He does have Trinket available if he needs it. Has Water Shield on himself. He's trying to keep his mana up as much as possible. Ev's using that second Demon Soul right now. SSDS actually down to 27% HP, taking a lot of damage now by Evs and Cytrix. Gonna have to use his first deterrence there, though. Kipo does have bubble available if he needs it. Sack coming out, or Master coming out. He's gonna be able to get off those casts. Asher is still dipping dangerously low, hovering around 50% HP at the moment. Explosive shot coming out from SSDS. The full Hodge onto Kipo, though. They're trying to counter pressure SSDS, and because of that, SSDS can't push in. He can't get much damage out onto Absurge right now. If you look, all of his damage is falling off. Finally, the Black Arrow coming back up onto him. Absurge just hovering around 50% HP, 50% mana, keeping himself up. He does have Gateway available if he needs it. Both his Spirit Link charges are up. That is a Crows coming out from SSDS. Kipo still has his bubble as well as his bops available. SSDS has one deterrence ready to go.
Absurd is so brave. He sat through that full maim at 30% health. Kappa, in the meantime, has to bubble, pops the Avenging Wrath to top off SSDS. Absurge gateways away. Still has his Trinket Ascendance in both links. He's using his mana instead to heal through the damage. But for how much longer can he keep it going? Psych trying to go for a clone here. He does get rebuked on the Cyclone. Going to be trying to reconnect onto Absurge. The Avenging Wrath out from Kappa. Stabilizes his team entirely. But I think Evs might have disconnected as he is doing nothing here on the binding shot. And Kids of Toxic 2.0 being good sports, not going to be murdering their disconnected opponents.
Yay for sportsmanship.
Yeah.
So hopefully Abs will be able to return here shortly.
I always feel like when someone DCs like this, we should go to chat and have, like, you know, in the Gladiator Arena.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs
And
up
they
or
should,
thumbs
you should
down,
use
yeah.
D-Machine and Clutter's face. What do you guys think?
Just use
No.
D-Machine.
You have to say
GCD
yes
no.
or no.
GCD
going
no
down.
or GCD yes if you
Thumbs
want.
down.
If they kill them or not. And the players have to do what you guys say. So if you say no, wait, they have to wait, or say yes, then they have to go.
Finish him! We should make that. We have emote spots, man. We should make that. I don't know. We kind of already have it with D-Machine yes and no, huh?
Yeah. Those are perfect. Hannah is clearly the evil one. Wait, what?
I mean, who?
Wait, doesn't thumbs down mean kill him?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure thumbs. Yeah, so everyone wants him to die. Well, apparently he DC'd and is out of the game.
Alright, so Kids Attack will take the first win, potentially, of the series. A TKO, I guess you could say. Technical knockout? No? Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and whisper these teams and figure out what's the dealio. Whoa! I did not see that coming.
What happened?
Kids of Toxic want to replay.
Good.
Good for them, man. Shout out to Kids of Toxic 2.0. SSDS, Cyfoxy, and Kappa looking for a replay against this team. Really just bringing that sportsmanship out. Really admire that, man. For real. Oh, yeah, Clutter's cookies are the best. They are! They are, but she doesn't cook them for me. She only cooks them for you guys.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I'll take it.
I'm okay with that.
Uh,
Yeah. I wonder where regionals are going to be held this year. If regionals are going to be held on the East Coast again this year, we're definitely bringing cookies. The teams are asking if they can get a sub in. They absolutely can get a sub in. Oh, actually, no, they can't, because Absturge is actually their sub in, and only one sub in is allowed per team, so that's really unfortunate for that team, but hopefully their Warlock will be able to log back in. Can you give Clemex a shout out? Sure. Shout out to Clemex. Clemex? I think I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Regionals in Florida? Are they really? Did I miss that?
Was that announced?
I don't know. I'm assuming because you don't know and I don't know, it's not announced yet. Gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Regionals last year was a fantastic time for me personally. I had a really good time at Regionals last year.
Dude, it was amazing. I had a good time too. It was so nice to meet you guys.
Oh yeah.
It was like a little prequel before BlizzCon.
Yeah.
it's a freak.
It's a more quaint prequel because it's a lot less busy, so you can just kind of hang out a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's cool. Regionals has not been announced. Thank you, VHL, for that. I appreciate that, brother. Shout out to my good friend and Gladiator. 100% got it wrong. All right, there it goes. D-Machine, was you a toad before Clutter kissed me? I was actually a fish. I was a salmon.
Really?
Yeah. I had a very good life as a salmon. She actually ruined it. I was a beautiful fish.
She ruined your life?
Yeah.
Wow. You hear that, Clutter?
Oh, she hears it. She hears it loud and clear. EVZ has logged back in. That's good, man. That's good. The Warlock has logged back in. Hopefully this team will be ready to compete once again. 4 years of Latin. Oh, that's a good point. Kalissa. we are recruiting in the GCD TV Guild on Tichondria, so if you want to be a part of our community, if you want to join GCD TV and hang out with all of us in-game and you're on Tichondria's US Alliance, make sure to whisper either Supatees, yeah, just spam Supatees with whispers, please.
What the? No.
Or Kalissa or D-Machine. All three of us are able to invite to the guild.
You spam me, I block you.
Just block. Just slash who GCD TV, and look for Kalissa. She's at the very top because her name starts with C. Alright, we should be jumping into these games very, very shortly here. I do apologize for the temporary break, waiting for these teams to ready up after that disconnect. Hopefully here pretty soon we'll be able to jump back into Nagrand Arena as kids at Toxic 2.0 are willing to replay the match, which is very, very admirable. I really do think that's awesome.
How many more games do we have left tonight?
The semifinals actually, unfortunately, aren't going to be able to be played tonight, so this is actually our very last series of the night. But tomorrow we'll be jumping right back into the action in the semifinals. Proxy.net versus You Reckon Me, and Scouts Honor versus the winner of this current series is going to happen tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here at GCD TV. Though unfortunately, not all of the teams in the semifinals are going to be able to compete tonight, which is unfortunate. It happens, though. It happens. I do want to take a moment to shout out our sponsors while we have a free second. So SkillCapped is still looking for people to contribute. So if you are, say, a YouTuber, or if you're a real YouTuber, or you create videos or anything like that that has anything to do with World of Warcraft, and you're semi-familiar with PvPing and Warlords of Draenor, you understand what compositions are good and things like that, and you can actually give advice in regards to PvP, please consider contributing to SkillCap. They are looking for content contributors. If you want to know more about that, please type !skill in chat, and it'll get spammed with this Nightbot message of more information on that. But they are looking for people to contribute to their website, SkillCapped. If you're unfamiliar with them, they make guides and stuff like that. So really cool stuff. We did just get a new subscriber. Oh man, Zonk1024. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. We got the double thumbs up coming out from Clutter, and we're gonna jump into Nagrand Arena once again here. Here we go.
You know what I think is going to be pretty cool about the next season is that we're going to still be doing war games. It means that players will have access to full gear prior to being actually full geared.
Correct.
On the live ladder. So
correct.
It's going to be an interesting little fluctuation. You often see some classes or some comps be very strong at the start of a season, and then when the full gear comes out, suddenly there's a shift, a power swing for some classes and specs. And
yeah. The cool thing about that is it's going to be up to players to sort of experiment and kind of guess what's going to work in the tournaments and what's not. Unless they like do war games, there's no real way for them to figure it out.
Yeah. Now, I did get confirmation that all the tournament gear pieces that were missing this time around won't be missing next in 6.2. So that's really cool to hear that the tournament gear is all going to be there and complete. But here we go. 6 seconds until this game starts.
Here we go. We have SSDS immediately pushing in, getting out some initial damage onto Citrix. He's actually going to use his wall right away, already popping that Divine Protection. Absurge's actually getting bashed up, so it looks like they're going to be doing a change of strategy, CCing Absurge instead of trying to train him down. Citrix using his Avenging Wrath, though. Ev's also using that Demon Soul. Kipo in a lot of trouble, trying to get away. His Save of the Light proccing on him. He's able to get away, get some heals out onto himself, but he gets locked out there by Evs. Well done by him. That was a quick counter spell. Citrix, though, down to 17% HP, having to use that bubble. Absurge not overreacting, though. Didn't have to use any cooldowns. He's going to be able to hopefully top off Citrix. Kipo using that Avenging Wrath. He is still getting tunneled down, getting hodged up there by Citrix. Evs still has one Demon Soul available and ready to go. But yeah.
Whoa! Cydrix is
Yeah,
just going to go down. Avster's barely spirit linking him in time. Ev's not able to get into the link. He's still down to 50%, and Kids of Toxics 2.0 looking just as strong as the first game here, even switching their strategy onto Cydrix. Avster's sitting through a full bash. Cydrix choosing not to bop him out of it. He's going to have to save one for himself here, trying to line aside desperately, taking a lot more damage, I think, than he expected. He does manage to eat the trap that SSDS was trying to land onto Avster, so well played by Cydrix to eat that CC here. Psych going for a clone. He's going to get rebuked by Cydrix. Cydrix doing a good job shutting down this team CC, but SSDS using the Murder of Crows now, trying to take him out here very quickly. Avster is going to get hodged. Ev's in a clone. 3v1 onto Cydrix. Down to 30. He's going to bop himself into safety range here. Ev's landing a double howl onto the DPS, but Psych looking for a clone here. He's not able to land it. Cydrix gates away with Avster and will stabilize for the time being.
Yeah, but Avster immediately getting put into that full trap, and Cydrix is still in a little bit of trouble. Ev is trying to turn her around, though, using that Demon Soul. His dots are going to be exceptionally powerful now. The DR Wyvern thing coming out, or sorry, the full Wyvern thing going out onto Evs. I didn't expect that. Kipo doing a good job keeping Psycho and SSDS topped off and quite offensive, but Psycho taking a lot of damage, having to use that survival instincts, getting spiked down by Cydrix. Cydrix actually has it as his Avenging Wrath coming up soon, and Kipo's not going to have wings. Psycho's not going to have many cooldowns to really deal with it, so if Cydrix can get a well-timed wings off after Kipo's cooldowns fade, they could actually potentially score a kill on a Psycho. Abster's actually getting fully cloned up. He has no trinket available. Sai having to play very defensive. He doesn't have gateway available. He's got to sit here. He does have one bop available. Murder of Crows are up and ready to go for SSDS. He knows that Sai is probably going to have to bop that off. He's going to throw it out. Just wants to get that pressure going. Hopefully work through that cooldown. But the Avenging Wrath and Demon Soul coming out from Evs and Cydrix at the moment. Sai is actually going to get cloned up. Trinkets it immediately into a DR clone. Kipo in a lot of trouble though. Fully loaded up with dots. Stable the light procking on him. He does have Trinket ready to go. Bop as well as his Forbearance is going to be fading. He's going to manage to survive, but SSDS getting chunked down as well. Sable the light procking. Psycho down to 1% HP. Zack coming out. He also has that survival instinct. Managed to get that off in the nick of time, or surely he would have died. Cydrix caught into a full trap. Kipo just having a hard time keeping himself up. This entire team being rotted down right now. Caught into the full Hodge. He's going to trinket that right away. He can't fall further behind. Abster's caught into the full Hodge at the moment. He does have trinket available. He's not going to use it. Cydrix has a bop ready to go, as well as a sack for Abster to CC. So please, Jimmy, don't flop. Looking very, very comfortable right now.
Yep, and they really are, for now, 2 sacrifices available. Cydrix choosing not to sacrifice the trap, and it was actually overlapped with the trinket and the sack at the end of that, so that huge overlap might cost them here. Absurd is going to have a link available, but with no trinket, it's not going to provide much use. Kids of Toxic 2.0 swapping over to Evs, already taking him down to 50%. Cydrix here shortly trying to stop the incoming CC. The Murder of Crows gets used onto Cydrix. He's trying to gateway away and heal with Absurge, basically playing together as a team to stay alive through all these cooldowns. Ev's getting cloned up. Kappa's Avenging Wrath going to be fading here shortly, as well as his big burst healing. Now Absurge caught into a full bash. SSDS looking to chain that into the full trap, and he has no trinket. He overlapped it earlier with the sack. Cydrix is completely alone. Ev's trying to fear spam the DPS, down to 19%. Absurge gets full cloned out of it, and Cydrix is going to go down. That overlap costing him his life. And please, Jimmy, I think I'm supposed to say Jimmy, don't flop.
It is supposed to say Jimmy.
On the Nagrand Arena.
But
Jummy.
that was such a Jummy, no! That was such a crazy game. I cannot believe Kids of Toxic still won that. Both Kipo and Sinkyo got so very close to dying. It was incredible. But there we go.
Yeah, Sable the Light procced on Kipo, then it procced on SSDS, and then Psycho almost instantly got gipped, just all over the place.
Unbelievable game. I'm really excited to see what happens next. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to go and ask these teams. Oh, SSDS is on the game. He is announcing to me that he's playing Jungle Cleave. Thank you so much, SSDS. Dude, that's what I like to see, man. So, Kids of Toxic will be playing that Jungle Cleave once again. I'm going to go ahead and ask, please, Jimmy, don't flop, what map they want to be playing on. And if they want to be playing different compositions, they have that option available to them if they want to swap it up. Alright, so looks like they are going to be requesting Tol'viron Arena Here we go. Let's jump into the next series here. War Games request being sent out. Here we go, guys.
Just Twitch chat making me laugh. Oh man.
All right, here we go. Game number 2 between Kids of Toxic and Please Jimmy Don't Flop. So far, I mean, Kids of Toxic 2.0 look like they're doing pretty good, but man, there has been some close calls both of these games, and we are in game number 2 here on Tol'viron Arena. A bit larger of a map. Maybe this larger map might give Please Jimmy Don't Flop an advantage, but they got so very close last game. Here we go.
Yeah, really, it could go either way. I mean, we saw, how do you say his name? Sitio?
Sitio. Psycho. Sure.
Psycho. I'm calling Psycho. Really, we saw Psycho. I mean, he went down to, I think, 1% HP before he got his survival instincts, and the sack came out from Kipo. So, yeah, that's about as close as the game can go. The gateway coming out from Evs, going out to around the middle of the map. SSDS already getting loaded up with dots. Sitio looking like he wants to bash up Absurge right away. Doesn't look like he's the target of choice though. Citrix taking a lot of damage actually right now. Divine Protection actually going out from him as well as Avenging Wrath. SSDS down to 12% HP. Avenging Wrath coming out from Kipo, trying to keep him up. But SSDS needs to be very careful. Catches a huge heal though. Evs has that Demon Soul up as well. Citrix and Evs going crazy offensive in this opener. Divine Protection also coming out from Kipo. He's going to be able to stabilize, but both teams coming out of the gate strong.
Yeah, Citrix's Avenging Wrath fading now along with his pressure. He's slowly getting chunked down. Absurge actually dropping a Spirit Link there. It was instantly killed. I didn't even see it, but it's on cooldown for now. So one of his links getting cut through already. It's going to be very important. It's a major cooldown for his team to survive. Kappa, in the meantime, though, getting full feared by Evs, looking to chain that into another fear, into a final fear here. SSDS rotting down, now fully dotting Kappa. Citrix trying to stay together with Absurge and output some pressure as much as he can. Full dots getting loaded out here shortly by Evs. Going for the haunt now onto Psycho. Down to 20%. Side by the light. They cut through the Stay by the Light. He's going to Survival Instincts. Now choosing instead to pop the Incarnation, and in the face of death, Psycho laughs and tries to take Citrix down. He's going to shield while still down to 20%. Kappa's going to bubble. Citrix has to bubble, and on both sides, it's so explosive.
Yeah, Absurge, if we look at its cooldown, still has Trinket and a Spirit Link available. Citrix still has 2 sacks and 2 bops ready to go, so he's going to be able to get Absurge out of some CC. Both teams just using so many cooldowns. So Kipo, no Trinket, no bubble available, has 1 bop ready to go. SSDS also has 2 deterrences, so both teams having some cooldowns left to survive, but Absurge is getting fully cloned up. Citrix taking a lot of damage, still does not have that Divine Protection, getting down to around 50% HP. Absurge finally out of CC, able to throw some heals onto him. Kipo using an Avenging Wrath, wants to keep Sitio and SSDS offensive as possible. Absurge is actually getting sacked out of that crowd control. And he's going to be able to get off some healing surges at the moment. He's trying to fake over and over and over. Ev's actually getting CC'd up there by SSDS. Well done by him. Kipo caught into the full Hodge. Divine Protection coming out from him. He does have Save of the Light available with the Bob coming out as well. So a little bit of an overlap there by Kipo. Citrix does have that Avenging Wrath up though. So much damage coming out from him after using it. His second Spirit Link totem at the moment. Wants to keep Evs and Citrix offensive. The full trap though onto Absurge. Evs caught into the full clone Citrix all by himself, all alone. The Murder of Crows doing work onto Citrix at the moment. SSDS and Zyko getting feared up though by Evs. Beautiful defensive play by Evs, knowing he needs to peel. He needs to give Absurge some time to keep up Citrix, and both teams are going to stabilize.
Yeah, the Spirit Walker's Grace out from Absurge, granting him that Aura Mastery to top his team off. Citrix's Avenging Wrath not going to be available for some time. Incarnation as well, not available for some time. Ev's popping the Dark Soul to get some pressure rolling. Full dots and Haunt onto both Psycho and SSDS. Kappa's got a lot of work ahead of him, down to 30% HP now. He chooses to Hodge Absurge. SSDS has to deterrence Kappa into a full fear. Full clone onto Absurge though. Pressure onto Citrix, down to 20%, and Citrix will go down. Maybe a cross kill potentially here. They don't have any more CC though. Kappa's getting the heals rolling. The Avenging Wrath is going to secure his team the victory here on Tol'viron Arena, but it was a close one.
It absolutely was, man. Holy crow. Kids of Toxic versus Please Jimmy Don't Flop. Now, I I don't know. Kids of Toxic, they're going to go ahead and advance here in tournament number 17. And they're going to the semifinals unless somehow, some way, Abs brings it back. Abs is doing his best to try to heal him up here, but he will eventually go down, and Kids of Toxic is going to take it. But I must say that this jungle cleave is looking very strong. I mean, there's been some really close calls, but still, Kappa being able to keep up his team and keep their team offensive as well. I'm excited to see them continue to compete here in GCD tournament number 17. But taking a quick look at that bracket, Proxy.net versus You Reckon Mate, Scouts Honor versus Kids of Toxic. That's all going to happen tomorrow, guys, at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here at twitch.tv/GCDTV. Thank you guys so much for coming out and hanging out with us. I really do appreciate all the support. We did get a bajillion subscribers today and a whole bunch of resubs as well. So thank you guys so much for all of that. It means so much to me. Thank you guys so much. We do have a donation goal of $500, as you can imagine, which is pretty significant considering how short this this tournament is going to be this week. But I do appreciate all of you guys coming out and supporting us with those tips. We did get quite a few tips today as well. Thank you so much, everybody. We did get $4.20 from Free Wreckful. If Wreckful is not freed, I shall commence upon a hunger strike. Thank you so much, Free Wreckful, for that $4.20 donation. $4.20 donation. Thank you so much, man. And we did get another donation, a $5 donation from Crenitel Aided. Crenitel Aided? Please correct me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. He says, love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. Thank you so much for the support, buddy. I really do appreciate it. And we did get a couple subscribers. MeteoX and Zonk1024 and Beanslayer X has subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing to us 3 months in a row, man. That ongoing support is incredible, Bean. Thank you, brother. I hope to meet you at BlizzCon, my friend. But that is going to do it for us here at GCD TV for tonight. We will be bombing someone very shortly. We're going to just play a quick 3-minute ad guide, and right after that, we will be bombing someone. So make sure to stay tuned for that, guys. We'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm still trying to decide on who I'm going to be bombing here. A lot of you guys didn't want me to bomb Mitch. I've never bombed Mitch before, which is kind of why I wanted to bomb him. Looking at some people PvPing, it doesn't look like there's many people PvPing, though. Absturge actually just went live. I think I might be bombing the Sturge. What do you guys think about the Sturge? Ooh. Alright guys, I'm going to be bombing none other than Absturge. Why bomb someone who has the viewers? The bomb isn't necessarily to help people grow their stream. It's not necessarily what the bomb is for. Alright guys, yeah, we are going to bomb none other than Absturge. He is a constant competitor here at GCD TV. Here we go, guys. We are going to be bombing none other than Absturge. So make sure to go to his chat and hang out with him. I'll be there with you guys for a short period of time. I really appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out with me here at GCD TV. Once again, I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Thank you all for coming and hanging out, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later.
Oh my god, I can hodge out. I can hodge out, for sure. Shoot, please. What?
You bubble?
Yeah, I had to. Should be fine. This is wings for me. Sunfall, I'm dead, for sure. No, please! I'm alive! That doesn't take ever. Fuck this guy, he missed it.
Yeah, pull the shaman. So, druid in a second, pulling him. Nice. But, you on warrior?
No, I'm on shaman. I was just saying warrior there for a second.
Yeah, that's good. Pretty warrior.
Hot druid.
Can't get ground for a second. Good.
Going in the druid. Gonna have on the druid.
Okay. I have a silence soon.
I'll stun the druid.
Okay.
Did you pummel?
Dash.
You can still die. I think I'm really hard, dude. Spamming denounce.
You got it, you got it. I'm trying to call him, I call him. He might drink it. If you can pull the druid, trying cloning him, but not. Running him, cloning him, together.
Our son.
Once druid pushes in,
100.
I'm pulling back so this guy can push in, okay? Look, he's just running in with us. What?
Hey, I'm sending him back here.
I'm gonna Hodge Druid, okay? When I get
I got
there.
a spirit on it.
Hodge Druid.